Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I am going into Mortal Kombat 1 for another Fatal Friday video. I am going to be using the combination of Reptile and Frost, and I am trying to get the Pinkushion Brutality for Frost. In addition to the brutality, I will also be talking about a scenario that happened while I was creating this video. And I will just be giving my thoughts on some of the more negative things that you might hear being said by a person whenever you are fighting them in Mortal Kombat 1 online. So I guess before I get started, I'll say this about what my intention is for these videos that I create. I mean, it's pretty simple. The channel's name is Thor's Entertainment, and I just make videos based on the video games that I enjoy and the entertaining aspects of them. But something I never really defined is what I consider entertaining about the video games, or at least the video game videos that I was creating. That being said, I mostly wanted to create videos based on the story modes of the games that I like. And then I wanted to narrate them like you would do if you were watching, say, an old cheesy movie that you've seen a bunch of times with friends, while you were drinking and then just cracking jokes about them, what's happening on screen, or maybe just talking about things you know about the movie or similar movies. I always really enjoyed things like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or Riff Tracks, things where you're just goofing around about what you are watching, and you're enjoying that as much or more than the actual film itself. I kind of wanted that vibe for the videos that I was creating, just about video games instead of movies. But that's mostly for the story mode videos. Now, for these Fatal Friday videos that I am doing for the Mortal Kombat 1 game, they are a bit different. They are the first videos where it is not a single player recording. To do these, I actually have to be playing against someone online that I do not know. So the entertainment would be a little bit different. In my eyes, the entertainment would be the challenge of trying to earn the brutalities or the fatalities against other people. I thought that would be a much more challenging and interesting thing to see than me just grinding to unlock the brutalities and the fatalities, and then just doing them against the computer. After all, if I did all of that behind the scenes and just unlocked everything, I could probably make a compilation video about the brutalities and fatalities, and it would last about 5 minutes. But that would probably be a little bit boring, so I didn't want to go that route. I felt like playing against other people online would add a level of intrigue and challenge on top of just doing the brutality or the fatality. I thought that added challenge would be much more entertaining. So that became the concept, the entertainment value for those videos. Now, what I would not consider entertaining about playing games online is the idea of me trash talking to a complete stranger over my microphone as I am playing against them. That's just not for me. So I don't do it, and other than commentating oddities or missed opportunities by my opponent occasionally, you won't hear me doing that in these videos either. Now, even though I do not do it myself, I do not necessarily have a problem with a little bit of trash talking, as long as it's within reason. With that build-up out of the way, today I am doing something I do not intend to ever do again, because it is something that I do not enjoy, and this hobby of mine is supposed to be entertaining to me. I intend to highlight an example of someone being the worst kind of example of an excessively vulgar trash talker online. And I'm just going to talk about that general behavior and my thoughts on it. So, before I dive into it, let me explain something kind of funny about this scenario. This Subzero user had a lot to say while he was playing against me. The ironic part about that, and I kind of referenced this in my Batman Arkham Knight playthrough, I rarely play games with my volume on. If I do, it is usually my first time playing that game, and I want to hear some dialogue about the story or, just make sure I'm not missing anything important to understand the lore. But other than those scenarios, the volume is either muted or very low to the point that I can basically only hear if a character is yelling or something that might be needed for an audible cue. Playing Mortal Kombat 1 against people online, it's just a fighting game. So if my volume is on, all I am going to hear are characters grunting and yelling in pain as they are constantly getting hit over and over. That can get a little bit annoying after a while, so I usually just mute that and then play something else in the background a little bit more interesting to me. On top of that, I always have my microphone muted and I don't really feel the need to talk to my opponent whenever I'm playing online. I am pointing all of this out because I never heard a word of what this person said to me in real time. I did not hear it until roughly a month later when I finally looked at the gameplay that I had recorded. So I thought that was kind of funny that this person was so worked up, said plenty of things to insult and fluster me as we were fighting, and none of it was heard until long after the fact. So long after the fact that it just made me laugh because I knew how this recording was going to end. It was going to end with me winning 3-0, and it was just making his ranting much more funny to me. That is, of course, until the very end when I finally scored that third victory. At that point, it kind of peaks with the cringiest of his shit talking, and that's really what inspired me to talk about the whole scenario to begin with. So, what was the guy saying? For most of the match, he wasn't saying anything out of the ordinary for some Mortal Kombat trash talk, just maybe a higher than average volume of it. The censored version of it was he did not like how I was playing the game. He did not like that I was playing cautiously and not chasing after him. Instead, I was making him come to me. And of course, he is swearing, calling me all the usual obscenities, telling me to not keep doing the same thing over and over again, stuff like that. The thing is, when something works, I am going to keep doing it until it doesn't. Making him come to me worked because he kept doing the same things himself. He kept doing the slide and the ice mace launcher. And I have said this in other videos where I have fought a subzero person, but those attacks are super unsafe. And I would just punish them every time he did them. And he did them a lot. Like, I actually went back and counted, and unless I missed one or possibly counted one twice, he gets punished doing a combination of those attacks 16 times. He did not like how I was playing and that I was making him come to me and that he was losing because of it, and he was telling me to play differently. Well, I'm here to say that at the end of the day, you do not owe it to your opponent to make it easier for them to win. It is more the job of the competitor to adapt and find a way to win, or they're probably just going to lose if they don't. This guy, he just kept doing the same crap over and over again, even though it was not working. But he did not see it that way, and he certainly let me know it.
Brutality. Reptile wins.
The really toned down version of what he was saying was that he felt I was playing like shit, which is really funny every time I hear that from someone, regardless of what game they are playing, when they are losing to me. Whenever that person is losing and then saying that I play like shit, it always feels like that statement is more of an insult to the person who said it than the person they said it to. Because if I am that bad at the game and you are losing to me, what does that say about you? Which I am never going to say that I am great at this game. I am like the definition of a casual player. I don't play the game consistently, and I show my unremarkable matchmaking record every video. I am struggling to even get a win to loss ratio that's even. Hell, I probably take even more losses than the average person because I am trying to record these videos of me ending matches in really specific ways, as opposed to just using an effective strategy that would probably help me to win more. So, yeah, I am not trying to make it sound like I am leagues better than anyone else or this person specifically, because I'm not. I just don't go out of my way to talk crap to somebody regardless if I'm winning or losing. I'm just trying to have fun, and honestly, it's not that serious. So, up to this point, if that had been all this person had said to me, I probably never would have brought it up in this video. I would have just ignored it, removed the audio of them talking, and then just talked over it and highlighted the brutality for this week. But the person kind of outdid themselves when they finally lost in that third match. Now, I'm not going to play the audio of him saying it, and I'm not going to do exact quotes. But the gist of it was this guy threatened if he ever found me, he would sexually assault various members of my family. Just really, really classy sportsmanship during a loss. Which, I'm an adult, and it's not my first day on the internet, so this was not something that really bothered me too much personally. This type of behavior isn't really unusual, unfortunately, and I kind of have developed a bit of a deaf ear to it, as I suppose a lot of people do whenever it comes to online crap like this. But that's just me. I assume a person belligerent enough to say that to me has probably also said that same thing or similar things to other people. And while I was making this video, I realized that this would be my very first video that I was editing where someone was that ridiculously vulgar and chippy. So I thought it might be a good opportunity to just at least comment on the behavior overall and offer my thoughts and advice on it. And the advice I'm talking about specifically is for anyone who might be making similar threats in the future to other people while they're playing online. The advice is just remember that you do not actually know who you are talking to or who is listening on the other side of that match. I am guessing that it's probably easy not to think about that, considering that all these fights online are generally anonymous, or perhaps you just visualize that you're talking to someone your own age and with a similar behavior to yourself. But you don't actually know if that is the case. You could very well be saying those things to some kid out there, and you wouldn't know. And yes, I know this game is rated M for mature, but people still get their kids video games that have that rating all the time. And that's generally because they feel their kid is mature enough to discern and handle the fictional violence that is advertised on the game with that rating. Now, what's not advertised on that game, and what I doubt they want, is a grown ass man threatening to sexually assault a kid's family. So, yeah, be careful about what you say because you don't know who is going to hear it. Just a thought. Remember that you never really know who you are talking to. And try not to be the cringiest possible example of an online gamer. And this is not intended to shame this guy specifically because it's not like he is the only one who's ever said crap like this, and he's certainly not going to be the last. This is really intended to be more of a commentary on the type of behavior more than singling out a single person. He just happened to be my example because, well, I fought him and I have the recording of what he said. And since I'm not trying to single any one person out, I don't show his gamer tag, and I have no intention of ever actually playing the recorded voice that someone might recognize. Anyway, I think I have had my fill of this topic, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. So that was the pinkushion brutality for Frost. I hope you enjoyed it. Fortunately, I was able to get at least one of the brutalities without him talking in it, so we got to enjoy actually hearing it be executed and then get the big brutality announcement at the very end. Anyway, this has been it for Thor's Entertainment. This has been it for Fatal Friday. Just thank you all for watching. Take care, and remember, it is not that serious. Try to be decent people, and just try to have fun. I'll see you in the next one.
Brutality. Reptile wins.